Okay, everybody, welcome to Directory Webinar number 20. Today we're going to talk about onboarding tours. Don't just ask them, show them. And so we're going to continue on the series of onboarding. We had talked a couple weeks ago about training as one of the onboarding techniques, and we went over a tool for that and some examples of that. And we're going to go ahead and continue with another discussion on onboarding today, but we'll be focusing on tours. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Just as customary, I'll go ahead and switch to audiovisual here. We'll just go ahead and chat with everybody and say hello, see what else everybody's up to, answer any quick questions for anybody that might have to leave a little bit early, or questions they have about latest updates or anything like that. And we can do that first. So I just realized my camera's not on. Get that going here. So, Mark, anything new with you?
Oh, not too much. I'm uploading more sites right now. I have a little bit of an issue with my own site, and for some reason it gives me a 404, and it looks like something in the database isn't quite right with the URL to my own profile. So I submitted a ticket to support. Just waiting to hear back from them.
Okay,
but, getting there.
So let me go over that real quick. Sometimes this happens to me sometimes as well, and I'm just going to show everybody how to potentially fix an issue on that. If you guys go to developers and 301 redirects, sometimes you get a 404 error because it can't find the profile anymore. The profile changed, but it didn't make that connection for some reason. And it may just be something that you need to get rid of, that the site's trying to go to the old one and there's just nothing there anymore. So what I recommend doing, and the system does this automatically, there may be some stuff in here that you guys may not realize, but like for mine, I have 267 redirects, where it basically says, hey, it used to be called directory site review, capture, track, and review directory feedback, and now it's the new one's just directory site review. So it does that anytime you update a title or resave that, or for example, if somebody hadn't signed up or hadn't geocoded their stuff or added their name, and then they added their name, so now it's not pro and now it's going to a person or whatever. So it redoes all of these dynamically, and sometimes there may be a rogue item there that's just going to a site that's not there. So what I would recommend doing is go grab that URL that was giving you the 404 error and try to just throw that baby into the search. And I'm just going to do this one as an example. You type that in there for the search word and hit enter. And so now you notice I have two that are going to that new site. And so maybe that one is just not recognized anymore. And all you have to do is just basically delete that one. In fact, most of the time it's actually forwarding to the one that's bad. For example, if it's redirecting to this one and that is a 404 error and that's not a good one, you just want to get rid of that redirect, and then it should load the proper one and not forward it to the one that's not there anymore. So that could be the issue, could totally not be the issue. That just reminded me when you said that. I've had that before where it's just a bad redirect. And so
Ryan, how did you get to those redirects again? I missed it.
You just go to developers and then 301 redirects.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, and so that may not be the problem, but it may be the problem. And if you can find that in there and redo that for the link, that may fix that.
Okay, thank you. Hey, also one other question with regards to importing. I've imported some listings and then I deleted them. I tried to re-import some more. And the last time I tried to take them out, nothing came out. They're all still there yet. Now, have you ever had that situation?
You took out the listings and they were still there?
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, I did delete all URLs, or there's a little button up there, and I clicked on that, and then I waited, to get the processing thing that keeps going around, and then after it was done, they were still there yet, so I couldn't figure.
Well, so again, this is just for everybody in terms of this one. It may not be the issue again on this one, but normally sometimes there's a caching issue where it hasn't been replicated across, or it's pulling some old stuff that's in your actual computer by something that you changed. So anytime you make a big muscle movement or something like that, you want to hit this refresh cache or cache up here and just click that, and it'll kind of do its thing, and it'll wipe the stuff from the database. So even if it's not in it's in your computer, it may wipe it. And then the other thing that you want to do is just hold down the shift button and then hit the hard. It's called a hard refresh. You hold the shift button down and then hit the refresh, at least on Chrome there, and then that kind of refreshes the cache for the local non-server side for your computer as well. And so doing the refreshing the cache, holding the shift down, and doing a hard refresh of that it shouldn't show that. It's because if it's not there, it's not there. It's not loading like ghost stuff. It's just something in your cache there is just loading, the old stuff again. So that's what I'm betting that is.
Alrighty, thank you.
Yeah. So try that out. If it doesn't work, obviously, just like everybody, obviously they're, sending a ticket to support, right. And obviously they're there to help. So
thank you.
All right, we got some new names on there today that I think have been on here before. We haven't seen in a while. So Dan, welcome. Corrine, if I'm saying that right. Eduardo, Leo, and then Lisa. And then the other Mark, which we said was from Nevada there. And I think Nicole's back, and I think Ray has maybe been here as well. So welcome to other people that are jumping on here. Frank, how you doing today?
Compared to what?
5 minutes ago when I talked to you? I'm just joking.
I'm good, except I realized that yesterday was Veterans Day. I didn't go out and get any free food anywhere. No Wendy's, no Bob Evans.
Yeah,
I wasted the day.
Well, you could have though. I didn't go because I'm in quarantine, so I couldn't go do anything. But I would have. But yeah, I normally go avail myself of some of those things. But
yeah, man, Denny's is my favorite for Veterans Day.
Denny's, yeah, I normally do the IHOP thing because they're like all day. Some people restrict it to certain hours of the day, but IHOP it's open all day long, and I can usually pick a time where nobody else is going, and not having any issues. So
I went to Chick-fil-A the other day, and I never go there because I don't like a side order of bigotry in my meals. but their chicken nuggets are like the best in the world.
Definitely.
So I'm in line, and I get up and I pay, and they go, and the price was different than it was yesterday when I got it. And I said, it was more when I paid yesterday. She said, well, you didn't have your veterans hat on yesterday, probably. So they give you a veterans discount every day.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's like some companies are like that.
So does Jiffy Lube, 25% off at Jiffy Lube. I'm going to start wearing this hat everywhere. You never get enough freebies. So how many people we got here today? Out of the 90 that signed up.
Out of the 90 that signed up, no, we got like 12 people in here right now. So
wow, great.
Pretty good.
Hard to have a free contest when there's nobody to, you know what I mean? You want it to be have a little, what's the word, suspense,
There you go. So we've got
you're going to win.
You gotta. That makes you feel bad if there's two people in there and you get a 50 chance and the other person wins, right? That's never good. So let me talk about that real quick, just for if anybody is here, just for that freebie. So what we're gonna do later at the end of the show here is we're gonna do. We actually got a really cool execution for this one for the prize winner. If anybody saw the BD webinar for Webinar 100 when they tossed out some of the free licenses, they were doing counting of the people that were in the room there. So we're not going to do that. Obviously, it would take us less because we don't have 100 people in the room like they did. We have a few less, but we have a pretty amazing Spinorama winner dial that we're going to execute to pick the winner today. So if nothing else, you will want to stay here for the confetti. For the winner.
Oh, yeah.
We pick that at the end.
Love the confetti.
There's legitimate confetti that's going to get showered upon somebody here. So we'll do that at the end, and we'll introduce what the software is, but obviously it's the onboarding software, the tour stuff that you're going to be able to use for your directory to help people show people around and do different trainings for that site. So let me go ahead and get into the presentation here real quick. I'm going to do a quick intro, and then I'm going to toss it over to Frank to have the discussion on what he's going to present for us today. So let me share my screen real quick, and this will be pretty short. I'm going to do a quick overview intro, what we talked about last time, and then I'll toss it over to Frank. All right, so that's today's topic. Everybody good for the screen here? Just want to make sure you guys can see that.
Yep.
Got it.
Great. So don't just ask them, show them for directory webinar number 20. So we walked over this a couple weeks ago, and we talked about onboarding stuff. And we're going to go over one of those specific instances today. But why onboarding we talked about, and please go back and watch that number 19 if you have not seen that, because there's a lot of good information in there. But why onboarding? You can do a lot of things to basically help out your directory to get more interested users, stop the immediate churn where they go to your website and never participate again or never actually finish the profile, etc. And you can do a lot of other things. And here's just a couple examples that we went over a couple weeks ago, but I'll just go over them again real quickly. You can do product tours, right, to help them get started on your website. So after they sign up, you convince them to sign up, whether it be free or for paid. And now they're on your dashboard and are stuck, and they, you know where to click because you've been in there slaving away for months trying to get this thing ready to go, and they just jump in there and kind of really don't know what button to push, and we don't have any guidance for them. You can use these kind of systems to steer them in the right direction. You can do welcome messages to retain those first-time users. So if they're showing up on your site, you can immediately show them something of significance, whether it be a new item or something that you just want to guide them to. You can basically say hello to those visitors, kind of like you would with a proactive chat. But these are just messages that pop up and you can show them. You can do pop-up messages to announce products and offers. So let's say they are existing customers or people have been to your site before, but you have something new that they aren't just going to know unless they browse around. You can kind of, wave that in the air and say, hey, we've got something new, and guide them to that new product or offer that you have available on your niche site or directory. And then you can do banners to promote, new infographics or ebooks. Again, obviously, we've gone over that in previous webinars where you can do the pop-up things to try to do some lead magnets things to get emails for the ebooks. But you can kind of do something similar with these, where it's just an onboarding thing where you kind of want to maybe you're providing that ebook for them of how to. It's a PDF of just how to fill out your profile, and it's as simple as that, where you make a Word document and make a PDF of it, or you have another system like we've gone over before, like Beacon, where it makes the ebooks and it has the entire system, but you can use those. You can do warnings to alert them about possible errors. So if that BD's having an issue with something, or you edited something and it's not working or whatever, you can kind of just let them know that there's an error. So if they see something, they're not thinking that your system's totally crap. You're aware of it and you're just letting them know. You can do notifications to inform them about just changes, right? It doesn't even have to be something new. It can just be something that you changed and you want them to know where the new location is at, or you want to know that you've kind of altered how you are working stuff, maybe even for your membership levels potentially. So just notifications is one. And then you can give contextual messages for complete features and form fields, right? And we're going to show you that today, where you can basically kind of hold their hand while they're walking through the actual sign-up process and kind of show them exactly what to do where, so they don't lose, the bubble on how to fill in their profile. And then you can also do hotspots to highlight specific areas of your website, right? So if you have, a question mark, you can actually turn on the tooltips things where they click on something or they click on a link, and then it answers their question or pops up with the extra details that you want them to have. So it doesn't take up the entire real estate of your website or your design. It's just kind of a link or a button that they then click on there or turn on the training, right? They choose to turn on the walkthrough, and then it's not obtrusive, but it's basically on demand where they're asking for it, and you can provide that training to them. And then it can also do NPS surveys. We've gone over this a couple weeks ago. I think 3 weeks ago, we were talking about surveys and Net Promoter Score, and you can ask them, if they'd recommend you to another person, if after using your site, and you can kind of get some more information on them, kind of get a general feel for where everybody's at for your particular user base. And again, that usually comes in handy when you've got more of a crowd coming to your website, right? When you can statistically significant at that point, you not just have one person answering it. So those are good to kind of see a general score on a particular segment of your site to see if they have any questions, and then reach out to them if they do have any issues. So the methods we went over a couple weeks ago. Here's some examples of things that you can do for onboarding. You can do a tour, an overlay. That's the one we're going to show you today. Tooltips, that was kind of some of the stuff that we went over in the last slide. Training, some onboarding training that we went over last time and showed you some of the stuff that we've done for some of the other BD owners in making a training site and a little course development there for onboarding, for how to fill out profiles, etc., via videos or other sorts of training that you provide. It can be tutorials, again, in those ebooks we were talking about, pop-ups, and then drip emails. And we're actually, I haven't mentioned it yet, but hopefully you guys saw that or aware of that. We are going to have a bonus session today. We're going to go long. And starting at 3 o'clock, we're going to have a bonus session and going over email onboarding and a process that you guys can use called the Zapier email parser. It's a service through Zapier. That's able to take emails from your BD system, from the automatic admin emails that you get when people sign up, and automatically sign those people up to your autoresponder of choice. So it's basically, without having to pay for any API development, you can kind of convert those signups to your autoresponder of choice. And at which point, and we'll probably go over this next week, you can set up a series of drip emails, just like small little content blocks that you have set up when they sign up. They just start getting that series of 5 onboarding emails that you have established and set up. That just kind of walks them through the 5 best features of your site, or how to set up different things of their profile. And you just kind of drip that content to them a little bit over time to kind of get them used to seeing your name, get them coming back to your site. And as everybody knows, if they start coming to your site, start proactively going back there, it starts becoming part of their routine. If you get them in that first week, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, get them in that first week, pull them into your sphere of influence, and they start doing that repetitively for a week, that they're going to be about 70% more likely to go back and use you at a future point than if you just kind of left them alone and hoped that they come back after signing up. So we'll go over that probably next week. These are some of the methods. And again, we're going to go over that tours and overlay today. And so this is what we went over last week, just as a refresher. So again, please go back to webinar number 19. We kind of went over an example of some businesses that are using this onboarding tutorial training series on how to do stuff. So it's always there, always on content training for the people. When they sign up, they can get access to it, and you don't have to actually do anything. You do it once, set it and forget it. And it's there for them to go avail themselves of the training. And so today we're going to go over the tours and overlays with a system called Helppier. And here's an animated example version of some of the stuff that it can do in terms of highlighting, popping up, and just basically literally highlighting a specific spot, touring through there and showing them how to use particular things. And there's a ton of functionality that this system can do, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But I'm gonna hand it over to Frank to just intro whatever he wants on here and how he is going to use Helppier and what these systems can do for you, and his take on the tours and overlays and what that can do for you. So go ahead, Frank.
Okay. So we're going to go to the checkout 25 page where it starts.
Yeah, Ken. I didn't know if you wanted to intro it first, and then I can roll into it, or do you just want to do it as I pull it up there?
No, I just wanted to let you know where I was starting. Okay, so let me tell you how I'm planning to use Helppier. Now, it does do a lot of the things that Ryan was talking about, like tooltips, promotional bars, special announcements are all built in. But I'm using it originally to do the onboarding. Now, a lot of the onboarding is common sense. But my goal is to do this. When they After they sign up, and it takes them to the page where they start to complete their online registration, it walks them through each step. Now you can say, but at first it tells them what I'm trying to accomplish and that they're going to get something special for completely filling out properly their listing. Because part of the problem that everybody complains about is nobody will go in and complete their listing. And nobody wants a directory full of half completed listings. They're just, a name and an address and a phone number. We don't like to have a lot more information than that. So I am giving them a reward, and actually I'm giving them 4 levels of reward depending on what they do. If they just fill out the basic onboarding from start to finish, they get a $100 hotel discount card that's good at over 1 million hotels worldwide. You could use it for rental car. You can use it for attractions and excursions while you're on vacation. Then if they do, let's say now this is all free. I'm making this up as I go along. These are not exactly what I'm doing, but I'm trying to give you an idea of how I plan to use it. So let's say then they complete their basic thing. It tells them, congratulations, you won your $100 hotel card. And we will make that a $200 hotel card if you go back and upload a video. We'll make it a $300 hotel card if you'll add a copyscape proof article. And then we have a $500 hotel card if I can get them to do like a bunch of things I want them to do, which I haven't figured out yet. But everywhere along the way, they're encouraged to take that next step because they're going to be rewarded. So if we can start on the first page, Ryan, I'll just show you some of the things that, although they're common sense, another thing we like, I feel, is uniformity on our site. So we want to be on contact details. All right, so you can see where I'm going to be putting my instructions, where it says instructions go here. This will pop up as soon as they land on the page and begin to filling out their directory listing. So you can hit the begin, Ryan. So it walks them through each step. Now, these are common sense. Obviously, they know their company name and organization. They put that in, they hit the next button.
So let me talk about this real quick, Frank. So the great thing about this system,
I'm sorry.
Was that?
This is the one where you choose if you're a company or an organization.
Right. So the great thing about this software is that there are some that walk you through, but don't allow you to actually edit it. Like it does like an overlay over the screen. It's like there and it's kind of showing you hit next. But like if you click off from the presentation, it like stops the presentation. It like goes away because you're like, oh, you clicked off you didn't click next, right? And so the great thing about this one is that this is live. Like it's still your actual website, but so I can now interactively just do that item right when it's asking me to do that, and it doesn't go away, right, unless I stop it or close it way down here. So it's live, and so now I can do exactly what it wants to say there. I can do the pull down, I can click a button, I can add my comments as we go through here. So it makes it very easy for them, dummy proof there, to just do that. They do it, and then they're like, I'm done with that, and next.
All right, so same thing there. They just pick if it's, business or their top level category. And I think, wait, you're allowed to go backwards on this? I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to set it up there, but we just have it.
Okay, so now what I'm doing is like, you'll notice now that on the internet age, what happens is people do not like to capitalize the first letter of their first and last name. And I have really bad OCD, which means that when they don't do that and I see it, I got to go in and change it, because if I know that I didn't, I'll be laying in bed all night knowing that's there, and I'm not going to sleep. So all I'm telling them is, it doesn't say it here, I'm going to put, please capitalize your name. Now, you can't force them to do it. Some people are going to just say, the hell with you. I don't do that. I use all lowercase. Okay, great. I tried. I gave it my best shot. But you know what? When I go back to review your listing, and if you didn't capitalize your first name and your last name, you ain't getting that $100 gift card. That's just the way it works.
That stipulation in here, right?
Can you guys hear me over there?
Yeah.
I have a question. Isn't there like a coding that can be put into the form
To make it capitalized?
It basically ignores whether it's uppercase or lowercase.
Yeah. But that's just one more thing to add that you didn't really need to add.
Yeah, but you can do that once as opposed to having to do this every time.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. I mean, it's one of those things where obviously that takes customization code in the back end of the form with some JavaScript stuff. Yeah.
And you only have to do it once. They're only filling out their listing, nobody else's. So just get it right the first time and you're done.
All
I'm
right.
happy, and you're getting a $100 gift card. I think that works for everybody.
But to answer your question, yes, there are some stuff. Same thing for
That was my basic question. I just wanted to know if there is a
there is. But again, I don't think you can do. Maybe you can do that for free, depending on your level of expertise. I couldn't do it, and I'm not going to pay Ryan to do it. I'm going to give these people a gift card to do it.
Right.
I thought I was the only person that had issue with people upper and lower case, or the people that put their entire name in all caps. I'm like, who do you think you are? Yeah.
I'm just as guilty as the next guy.
Right.
So all of a sudden it turned into,
Sometimes I don't.
Right. And then on this one, the address should already automatically been entered when they registered. Now, the next one is phone numbers, which is another one I'm a stickler about. Lately, I've been going to the numbers. A lot of people still like to use parentheses.
I think that's European.
No, it's more what's going on today. What do they call it? It's like the latest convention that people are using for phone numbers. And matter of fact, when I see them with parentheses now, I go, gee, that looks so like 1970s. But again,
that's why I just had my 4-digit phone number. I just had that one in there.
right. At least you're not doing like, Mayfair 7. So I haven't decided, but I think I'm going to go with the dots. Now, okay. I don't know if it makes any difference if when you go to use like a dialer or anything, if that makes a difference.
I don't think so. The websites are smart enough to figure those out. It doesn't matter. So Apple is smarter than the parentheses.
Correct. All right. So then they put their company name. Next. That's me, my position.
Yeah. So these are all pretty self-explanatory, obviously.
Right.
And you can put whatever ones you want, right? So you can selectively choose the ones that people mess up most of the time.
Right. I have a few where I just have ditto, And that which explains that if you don't do the map right, you're not going to show up right. So let's get it right. Let Google do the autofill once you start to type, and then you're going to show up good on the map.
And so obviously some of these things are going to be on the description, right, when they go back later. But you can basically just repeat your, what's in your description or elaborate again, because you can actually put more here, right, than you'd want to leave on your description for later because it just gets obnoxiously long. But this one, you can put, extra stuff in there for the first time walkthrough that they want. So again, we'll just step through all these to get through there.
And before you click, so now you can at this point ask them to review their data, or just tell them what's going to happen next, or just let them click save and continue and go ahead to the next page. And what I like about this is that it's contiguous over the pages. It'll take you, if you got 10 pages, it'll walk you all the way through it. So now this one, when they get to this page, and it is a little teeny bit. Now this one, all I'm going to do is reiterate here that if it's telling you what the preferred image sizes are, and it's just going to strengthen, reinforce the point that if you don't use the prescribed image sizes, you're not going to get a great look for your images. And you can also tell them, if you need help with your images, drop us a line. We'll try to help you. You know what I mean? You can tell them anything you want here. And then when they finish it.
I don't know, did you roll through and finish that one up, or you're just saying that, hey, continue?
No, I didn't. Because again, that's really all I'm putting there.
Yeah. Okay. And again, you could walk through each one individually, right? Explain which one's what it is.
Right. Now, I don't know if you did anything here or not. This is what you have to understand. Now, we've spent the last 4 weeks trying to get this work on BD, because some of these pages, when you go to them, well, the program works where you have to tell it what page it's going to start the next steps on. And the problem is on some of the, whether you click the colored bars at the top or the text links underneath them, creates a different dynamic URL. So we had to alter the code where you would put both in when you program it, and then no matter which one they use, it's still going to work.
So bottom line is we cracked the code on that one with working with the BD developers. So we got the way to work that now. We can the profile photo was the stickler, because that was doing a dynamic token variable in there that was not allowing that to load. We figured that out. So now again, in theory, then you would continue on with exactly what we did for the contact details form in the profile. You'd have one separately for that particular page that would then load and kind of walk them through any particular details that they wanted on there. And so and Frank, you can stop me if I'm going astray here, but the bottom line is you could link it to a particular thing that would start the training or whatever. And so, for example, if I closed it out, but I want to go back to that training again that I already set up, if I just go back to the listing instructions again, I'm gonna I hit begin. And it loads back to the training that I had already gone over. And as you notice, it automatically moves me over there to start the training. And now that it recognized and moved me to the proper page and realizes all the proper forms are in there, it is now loading the overlay again and starting all over again with that that instructions. So
right, and that icon that was on that, see that icon with the question mark in the bottom right hand side of the screen, you can tell the application whether or not you want people to have access to what Ryan is showing you now in this dashboard. And you can only, by just showing them the guides, besides showing them guides, you can show them again your promotion bars, any sales offers, and they can just click on whatever they want to see whatever they want without needing to be where it would pop up automatically. So there's two ways for them to access all of the things that you're using.
So you could have on your main page, for example, pop up a new feature, like look at our new feature, click here to do a walkthrough or see what that is. Or again, if you have access to there, it could have a section 2 here, right, where it says our newest features, right? And then you would literally have, because you could turn that one on the main page off. Let's say I went over the profile photo this week. Maybe I added the new video thing next week. I'm showing the video on, but you can still access the walkthrough or the overview of the new feature from last week if you want, because they're all in the sidebar here of newest features or whatever. So
right, and I remembered what I was going to do with the $500 card at the end. You know how, like, when you go, you buy something, something online, and then you pay it PayPal, and then it sends you to the upsell. Okay. And every time you pay again, it sends you to another upsell. So what I was going to do was, when they're all done, let's say they've filled out the complete listing, They've uploaded an article. They've uploaded a video. They've done everything I want them to do, and they're up to getting the $300 card. Then the last thing they see is, oh, by the way, if you upgrade to our next listing level, boom, the card is now $500. So it's like that last chance to get them to, and then you even get to tell them, and all the work that you've basically done is all going to stay. You've completed most of what you need to complete. You're just going to be getting more benefits by moving up to the next level.
How many tiers do you think upselling can go before it kind of fizzles out on someone?
Well, I'm only doing one.
Yeah.
You know, everything before you get the $100 card, the $200 card, and the $300 card just for doing things.
Right.
You get the $500 card if you upgrade to the next level.
Right.
So there's just one upsell.
Do you have any general information on that out there though, on how far can we push it?
Yeah, I'm up.
The average
annoy me.
And upsells or can we come up to 5? I mean, where's the average?
Well, normally most of the programs they cap out at 5 upsells, I guess. But
yeah, you got your main your front end offer and usually 4 upsells, and that usually that 5th offer is like, now do you want to like own it, put your name on it, and sell it to other people? I never buy that one.
Affiliate stuff, yeah.
But and the problem is with most of these front end offers, which we don't have to contend with here. You think they're great until you see like, oh, without at least the first upsell, I got nothing.
Right.
You're almost forced to at least buy the first upsell. And then you go, well, gee, I spent this much money. I may as well spend a little more and get the next upsell.
Right. Yeah.
It's all psychological.
Well, and so let me walk through, and I don't mind sharing this one because we're gonna. I mean, this is an example of that, and this is kind of a side topic, but it's one of value because obviously, anytime you provide an upsell, it's not like you're trying to gouge people. You're literally it's almost helping the consumer because you're not charging them for the full ball of wax there because you don't have to get the upsells if you don't want. It's totally up to the customer, right? Exactly. And so you want to make sure that there's items of value for everybody starting from the very first one. So I'm just going to introduce this one to everybody. It's available on the directorytoolkit.com right now as well. We've got a fellow BD owner who does designs for images. And so what he's doing is he's selling some custom designed images for your feature page or whatever else you want for your directory. And we're going to have a bunch of generic ones that you guys can pick from, but it starts out for his as a $30 for 5 images from the set. And then you can actually, add on custom colors if you want. You don't like the colors of some of the baseline stuff, you can adapt the colors. And if you don't like the images, you can pay a little bit more to customize them to your requirements, your feature sets. You can swap it all up, change different images, ask for different things. So it's a totally bespoke three customization back and forth on customizations for those images. And then I'll actually design the page and install them after you buy them if you want to pay for a site design to add them in there for your directory. So we got a couple upsells on here. I just want to kind of show you what that looks like just for everybody's use here. But you go to here for these the shopping carts. Obviously, you can get any number of sets of 5 that you want. Like if you want 15 images, you can get 2 sets there. And just add a special price for another 5 for 20, so you can turn that on. So you could get 15 images for $80 again, and then color customize them on future stuff. So after you complete the order here, then we'll allow you the chance to buy the color customizations if you want, or the bespoke images to totally change them up to whatever your needs are, and then the design of your page to put it on there. And so that's an example of an upsell, but it's not like you're paying for, you're adding on stuff of value later, and they can choose not to get those or not get those particular items if you don't want. And then obviously you have a good looking feature page with all the logos for different feature sets when you're done. So that's just an example again of off topic stuff, but you can see, once you're done, if you get those, you have your own custom images for the features for your website to try to make the sale. That's both mobile responsive and looks good on desktop as well. So
is that you're using Thrive Cart on that one or your other cart?
Yeah, that's Thrivecart. Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying. For some of those, like that one's capped at 5 upsells if you're going to do that. But I know it's kind of off topic, but you guys brought that up, so it was a good orderly discussion. But yeah, I mean, what you don't want to do is have ridiculous upsells that you're just trying to grab money and there's really not that much, and you want to make it clear what it is, right, that they're buying. If there's a whole page of stuff and you're trying to have to decipher through the whole page on exactly what you're getting, that's never good either, and it's annoying for people. But
I really believe in presenting such value as it's like right there in front of you. It's like that's the motivation. You're going to get such a better value for this upsell, that they're actually going to get a true benefit at a reasonable rate. And I think that's going to more or less trigger a lot more purchasing.
And they're all a lot of you got to do a lot of A and B not A and B testing, but it's going to morph over time to see what people are buying, what they're not buying, to change your offer. So I mean, you're never going to get it right at the first time. So that's just marketing 101. So Rich, did you have something?
Yeah, I'm a little confused because you go into another platform for another upsell, another shopping cart and Thrive cart and everything else. I mean, wouldn't the system just trigger, like Frank was talking about, if you update your profile, you do this or that, then you can get a coupon code or a deal for upgrading your membership plan.
Yeah. I was just going over that. That was totally off topic, so I apologize if that messed anybody up there. I was just going down that lane because somebody asked a question about upsells. I just want to kind of talk about people that weren't familiar with what we're talking about there. For that, what I just went over there has nothing to do with the Helppier thing. What you're saying is, so let's say they finish their profile and they get to that final page or whatever, then that is where the Helppier thing would pop up with the coupon code. Definitely exactly what you're talking about there. It has nothing to do with going off site for a shopping cart or anything like that.
Could you include a countdown clock in that? Because I know I've used a service for our website hosting platform for the podcast world tour. Excuse me, is like instead of WordPress, whatever, but it's just called Site 123, and they're genius at kind of upgrading. So as soon as you get the basic free hosting, website, which is going to have their URL, doesn't have your custom URL, just like a free website like Wix or Squarespace or something like that. Anyway, once you register for that and claim that for free, they actually start a clock ticking in your dashboard in an email that if you upgrade within, 48 hours, you get 50% off, 72 hours, it's 30% off kind of thing. So, I mean, could we trigger either an email through the sequence, maybe just the follow-up, or through what, Helppier that is more automated saying, hey, congratulations for joining, I'll just call it the bronze level. If you upgrade to the platinum or the gold within 24 hours, you get 20% off or.
Okay, I believe that the countdown timer is in the roadmap for Helppier. They're adding a lot of features very quickly, but it's a small team. They're working around the clock. So I would expect that in the near future, the countdown timer and probably even integration with your autoresponder will be implemented.
Well, that's a great segue there, though, guys, for the features. So let me just go through the slide deck here of some of the features. And Frank mentioned some of the roadmap stuff, but and some of that stuff may be on here. So let me just walk through these real quick, and this may answer some people's questions on what it can do. So Helppier is set up basically, obviously, to do that customization without any coding. What it basically does is it when you add that JavaScript to your site, it's able to read that back-end code, basically the ID and the labels of each of those fields. And it basically knows, when you highlight over that field, then you can add that bubble for that. It just recognizes that you don't really need to do any coding. So that's the great thing about it. You can just kind of hover over it, grab it, and then add your bubble. So you can You can add any sort of template that you wanted. They've got, obviously, you can customize it as much as you want, but they have a range of templates that are fully customizable to your message in terms of color. You can change the image out, change the text, add a video instead of the stuff. So basically, they have templates, right? So you don't have to spend a lot of time to reinvent that. They've got the templates in there, but you saw it on his when you did the pop-up. It's his color scheme. It's got his Vineland image stuff on there, and it's all customizable to match the tone and look, but it does have templates for you to start out with. And then, so the other cool thing is, and we've gone over this before about Canva, it doesn't have any integration with Crello, which we've gone over before, but it does with Canva. I know a lot of you guys use that. It has a built-in Canva integration, so you can actually go grab and create in-app messages and make that the image in Canva, and it'll automatically pull it straight into your Helppier segment there automatically. So a very useful thing to go make your images for free, or to make them extra Gucci if you got the Canva Pro version. Pull them into your Helppier thing and make them look really perfect and beautiful and high class for your pop-ups there. And you can see some of them on the screen there that you could do. So for example, if it's pulling in an image like this, where you got somebody typing on the computer, you got a button here, it's got text, you just make it in Canva and then pull it into your Helppier tool. And then it has multiple formats here as an example, right? So you can have a walkthrough, right, where it's just like an image and some text, and the next button you can just have a video with some text and just a call to action button at the bottom. You can just have a tooltip with a question mark, right, and it pops up with an image or some text. And then if you don't want an image, you just want a warning or something like that, or hey, we have some under maintenance, like one of those issues that we talked about. You just kind of give a pop-up whatever you want to look, and then we have our download our latest infographic type thing that maybe just pops up at the bottom of the screen, so it's not actually walking you through anything. You're just trying to get them to sign up for an ebook or download some content. So multiple formats that you can do in there, and again, you can do it per step, right? And so maybe one step has that, and then you end up with the video at the end and the call to action on the button. So they're all interrelated that you can do. So we kind of went over this for the demo that Frank did there. So you can do tutorials and product tours. And so that kind of answers that question we talked about. He just had the next button turns on, but obviously you can go previous and make sure you turn that on. And then you can go back and forth. You can do multi-page guidance. We talked about that and showed that to you, that it actually follows you through the page to page and automatically moves you back to the page. For the beginning of that tutorial, it knows where to automatically move your browser to start the tutorial. You can highlight those page elements and just make an interactive tour guide for your directory. And so that's a very powerful feature. We talked about the tooltips and hotspots before, so it does that as well. So again, just imagine you have this on your pricing page with a question mark where you want to highlight exactly what that feature means on the join page. You can hover over that or click it, and it shows you exactly what that is. Maybe you have an image of what that looks like in the back end for a particular feature set, or you can actually, when they click on the question mark for for example, let's say you want to say free leads, right? And or like the advanced plan has free leads, and they may be like, well, what does that mean? And you could click on the question mark and have an entire walkthrough video, or like an introduction video of a 1.5-minute video on what leads are, what they can do with that, and why they want to sign up for that premium plan to get the leads. And you can kind of just give them a video or whatever you want to do. So Tooltips and Hotspots is capable. And then we talked earlier about in that initial presentation as well, the Net Promoter Score, of turning that feedback into strategy and kind of getting a scale on what their satisfaction levels are. And so here's just a couple examples done through Helppier that show that Net Promoter Score with an image, and then the 1 through 10 on just if they're going to promote you to other people, and you can use that for your data on how people are doing. And again, even after that, after they enter that, then you could probably forward them over to a page where they can either, if it's I don't know if it has segmenting there, Frank, and maybe you looked at this one, but I'm not sure if it does. Like if you answer 10, then you can send them to a feedback survey, and if they answer a 0, then you can send them maybe to the right contact form to. It has
segmentation built in, but I'm not sure if it has it on this particular feature.
Okay.
And if not, I'll get that added.
Okay. Yeah, Frank's in with the owners here, so we're working this thing to get developed for the BD owners. We're working for you in the background here. So here's some of the actions that it has. So again, you can do step actions on, they can do different actions to create more of an interactive experience there. So they have the walkthrough step, and so that's basically their default action. And you can attach walkthrough steps to selected elements of your website, and we kind of saw that already. You can do click on elements, so it basically leads users to another page or area of your website when clicking on a specific element. And so the guide will continue to run there, and it will follow you from page to page like we've already talked about, which again is a very unique and powerful feature of this versus some of the other ones. It can do mouse overs, so it'll just attach guides to mouse over elements on your website so you can recognize those elements that are not always visible and have them pop up at certain instances. And then you can do a drop down where you can demonstrate, where users need to click. And then with that action, you can actually attach a bubble on a specific option of a drop down menu. So let's say you picked, it's a yes or no thing. And then you pick yes. You could then show a bubble that says, well, because you picked yes, you're like, and be aware that because you've selected yes, you will now need to fill out this, or this will now show your icon on your page or whatever it is, and show something different if they pick no. So it actually can tie into that and know what you select on the drop down. And then the last one is automated typing. So you can actually simulate form filling out. And so you can add a description and it will automatically present it on a selected text field and actually type it out for them like live, like it looks like they're filling it out. And then obviously we've already showed you that it'll actually, if you click on there and start typing yourself, it'll replace it, but it can actually simulate filling out the form. So a lot of different unique actions here that, again, we just kind of scratch the surface in terms of Frank's demo there, but you can do all of this stuff inside of Helppier. Talked about the videos a little bit there, but you can create your guide and record your video and actually share it with users. So you can either record your screen or upload a video. This comes up a lot of times before. We're like, hey, it's great. I want to have a video. I just don't know how to record my video or add that in there. So it allows you to do either. You can upload if you already have one. I know, Frank, you have some already, so you can just upload those. Or if you don't, you can actually record the screen, record you just live doing it, and then you can preview and upload your recorded video on there. And you just attach that to that particular step. And then you can actually share it with other users. So you can download the file to share with users like Vimeo or YouTube after you upload it. So it's also, it's not just relegated to that system on Helppier. You can actually pull off those videos for use on your YouTube channel as well. So very versatile in that respect. Again, if you end up getting the free one from Frank or an actual sub account, like a full up use of this, and you don't just pay me or Frank or somebody to actually make one for your site. You can have full tracking resources on here. You don't just create them; you can actually track their performance. So you can take advantage of real user insights and make improvements to your application. You can track engagement to see which guides are more required by users. I showed you that one thing I think a few slides ago. Where's it at? See right there where it says heart, like they love that or want to make a comment. You can actually see what steps people really appreciated, right, by that. And you can kind of get some guidance off from that. And then you can detect users' needs and adjust your approach, right, based on what you see. So there's just an example here of how many plays you've had for each guide, how many people have reached the goal. You can set up multiple goals in there, the completion rate, how many people stopped or how many people finished, how many unique users used that, and all that stuff. So some really useful statistics in there to kind of help guide you or edit what you're adding in there for later use.
Right.
Yes, go ahead.
Let me interject there that on the plans that I have, there is no analytics available in your dashboard, but I can get them for you. The individual tracking for sub accounts will be added. That's also on the roadmap.
Okay.
But yeah. I don't really see these as really, when I was told, I was like, who cares?
Well, I think you're right. One of the things on these statistics, like people don't like, you just think about ourselves here as directors. There's so much for business. A lot of times, unless you're so huge and you're making so much money hand over fist, you're like, I have a stats dude that I'm paying to just make my processes more efficient. Unless you're there, which 99.5% of us will never reach. You're probably right. You probably don't need to do this. However, if you just want to know, how many people are actually completing it, that is available to provide to you.
But again, if anybody needs it, all they have to do is ask me for it, and I can get them all their statistics.
Cool. So it also translates into 65 languages. So you may have thought it only translated into 64, but in fact, it does translate into 65. So
I made him add that.
What is that?
I made him add the 65th.
Okay, you asked for Pig Latin. I appreciate that. So again, if you do have a multilingual directory for those people from Jersey, it allows you to have that.
Hey Ryan, quick question about international languages, a little on topic, off topic, but we have members in all throughout the world, and I've never really thought about that. Like we have people in Japan, for example. Is there a website translator? Plug-in or integration where they log in Germany that it converts all of our content to German,
It does actually. And so if you have it turned on, for example, I'm going to do this page that I have here. It's a Google Translate. And so now my site is in German, but instantaneously there. So is that what you're asking?
I guess I switched over to video. So where show that again, or do we have to add that in BD in the admin area or something? Or
yeah, it's an add-on. It's just a multi-language tool, and you need to turn it on. Yep, but it does translate into any language you want. So Pig Latin is not on here though. So we have one up on Helppier that has Pig Latin. Thanks.
For Southern or redneck either, huh?
Yeah, they're working. That's really tough. There's so many dialects there, Rich. So
BD does not have Klingon.
But seriously, we have the VIP, plugins, whatever. So is it in there? Because I've never seen it activated on our site.
You have to turn it on.
Yeah, it is on there, and I haven't turned it on in a while, so it's gonna take me a second to find it. Actually, let me just. I'll just go to their support thing. I'm going to be able to find it. So
while you're doing that, speaking of add-ons, Frank mentioned just turn it on or off. I think that was a feature. We could go to our add-ons and turn them on and off. But for example, I was listening to there's a great podcast called The Membership Guys, and they have a membership academy. It's all about memberships and what have you. And he's talking about this thought process that they have regarding coupon codes on your checkout page. And two schools of thought, but he says, consider that you may want to remove that on your coupon page, on your checkout cart, because as soon as think about yourself as a shopper, when you go to any website and you see a coupon code, you're like, oh, cool, I can get a discount. I don't want to pay full retail, but I didn't get a coupon, so I'm going to go to Google and search for a coupon. And now you've taken them off your website. They're not likely to find a coupon for you. And then they've left your shopping cart, and even if they go back to your shopping cart, they felt like, dang, I didn't get a deal, so we've actually removed that from our shopping cart, the coupon code. But I had to go through tech support, and they said, you can't just turn it on and off, but we're happy to turn it off and remove it, and they can put it back on. So we're kind of beta testing that. But again, now it doesn't cause a blink when they're in a shopping cart thinking, oh, maybe I could get 50% off, but I'll wait until I find a coupon, or maybe I can, and they stop. They don't make a purchase.
Yeah, no, that's true. Otherwise, I guess the way around that is to give everybody a coupon so they feel like they have something, right? And they won't go off. That's the other option. But
yeah, that's what they recommended, like putting it on your pricing table, your member plan, like 10% off, and that's a roundabout way. The only minor challenge with that, sometimes people don't read. There's a lot of text, that 7-second attention span. They may not see the coupon code, but that's more on them, I guess.
Well, again, if you get Helppier, you can all your checkout pages, you can add a pop up that says add a coupon, save 10 now, and then they just close the box, and then they saw it because it popped up right in their face.
There you go. Helppier once again to the
rescue. That's right. So settings, design settings, general settings, and then it's in the header design. It's right here, show translate tool, yes or no. So Yeah, good.
And don't forget, I have to be out by 3 or soon thereafter if we're going to.
Okay, yeah, I'm almost done with the slides here, so then we'll do our giveaway here. So we continue with that. It has shareable guides. So each guide has a unique short link. So we kind of talked about this where you don't have to avail them of the tool. You can actually have it pop up or do it from a link, right? Because it's actually got a short link, so you can respond to support tickets faster and more efficiently. You just have your list of guides on how-tos. You can put it in frequently asked questions. So if they have a thing, you just shove them over with a link, and it automatically moves them to the right page and starts their tour without you doing anything. So it can reduce that support call duration or just a support ticket entirely. You can redirect users to private areas of your website. So let's say you had a thing that wasn't actually on the menu or a page that nobody else could get to. You could actually push people to that through a tool without having a link on your actual website, and just kind of they get to that magic spot, and they can use that redirect through a tour guide to move to that private area. And then we talked about FAQs and knowledge base, and then you can customize links of website buttons, right? You just put a button on there, and then instead of going to a page, it just pulls up that particular walkthrough. So you could have a drop down on there that says complete your profile in the main menu, and as soon as they click that complete your profile, it opens up that Helppier tour guide just from doing something from your menu. The other amazing thing here is it has rich content embedding. So not Rich, who's listening on the call here. We're not embedding Rich there. He charges a lot. We can't do that. This is actually like other content from other embedding sources around the internet. So you guys can probably see this on here as a Calendly. But if you have some embed code for a particular item, you can actually embed that in the sidebar code. So when they pull up a walkthrough or a tour or whatever, you can actually have a section on there that pulls up any other embeddable stuff that you want. So you can almost treat this like a launch center for things, right? It could be an ebook. If you have an ebook subscribe thing, it could be in the sidebar menu, the Calendly. If you have an FAQ embed code from another service, you can put that on there, and they're all just on different tabs for a help section, for example, and use that for you guys, whatever you guys can imagine, you can do it on there. But it just bottom line, you can embed other iframes or other coding in there. And here's just a couple examples of MailChimp sign up in Calendly and an FAQ. And then the original one that costs the full amount through the website has this, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't know if this has this in the model that we're providing. And Frank, we can fill that in later, but this one does have it. If you guys actually get the full tool, it does have a knowledge management tool for your particular company as well, where you can kind of set up a product list or product details and just internal comments on there with links to the different training. So if you had for example, a virtual assistant that is going to help you do certain things, you can add in here with the tours little notes for them in different categories and kind of show that in a knowledge management backend for an assistant or something like that. And then finally, it has a whole bunch of additional items in there as well, like timers and triggers and segments. Oh my, where you can do all sorts of stuff. You can choose whether you want the guide to appear after a certain time or when they interact with a specific area on your platform. You can segment them to only show them for different user groups. So like first-time users or active users or admin or male, female customers, etc. I guess, depending if you have a way to add that into the tracking details of the code. And again, it does have some interaction or integrations in there to be able to do that. And then it can also learn from new users. So you can track user engagement and see which guides are performing. We already talked about that in the stats if you want to ask for that or if you have to get the full version. So just as a review again today, I think we kind of walked through all of these on what you can do, but you can, do product tours, welcome messages, pop-ups, banners, warnings, notifications, contextual message, hotspots, surveys, all sorts of stuff for the software today. So
Can that trigger system be used to trigger a pop-up?
What was the question again? Sorry.
I'm wondering if the trigger system can be used to trigger a pop-up when they view a specific area.
Yes, that's what it is. So you either click a button, you either get to a certain page after a certain time. Exactly. Yep.
Can it be queued to a specific area on the page layout so that if the mouse goes over it, it triggers?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And that's the mouse over stuff. And so, I'd have to see how it does have mouse over stuff. I don't know if that means like a mouse over a word or that question mark. I don't know if it can do like an entire, like any mouse over the entire bottom half of the page.
Right.
You may be able to. It may just have to put an invisible div or inside of a div for that ID in there. And if it's anywhere in that div, it'll trigger it. I'm sure it's probably what it is. It just uses a div class probably. So or ID. All right, Frank, you ready for the
Sure.
the rundown? I'm gonna finish setting up the item here. All right, here's who I've got on the horn. If I do not hear your name, let me know.
The packages, would you?
Was that?
Put up the images for the packages.
Oh yes, yep. Sorry, let me do that, and then I'll let you talk on that while I get the other thing set.
Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's the deal. So besides the freebie, now if you go to helppier.com and look at their prices, the only thing I can promise you is you will have a stroke. It is probably the most expensive thing I've ever seen in anything I've ever wanted to use. So what I've tried to do is to put up some, and these are just really for today. If anybody's interested, I may put it up on my site through maybe through Thanksgiving, through Black Friday or something. And then out of deference to Ryan, because he's also going to be selling it, I won't have it on his site anymore, but I'll have it on my forum that I'm working on. Unless Ryan and I come to some sort of an agreement, which we'll arm wrestle over. So the packages are, the freebie is it's one good for one site. It's a lifetime license. It's 5,000 visitors per month, which I think will be good for most people. And I'm happy to up that if anybody needs it. I'm not going to try to charge you more if you need more page views. It's unlimited guides, unlimited steps, which are all those processes within a guide. All the actions and triggers that Ryan walked through. The segmentation, which I'm not real clear on exactly what that is. Where I know how it works, I just don't know where it works. You'll have the full suite of the unlimited templates, tutorial videos. There'll be no branding. And that would, on the Helppier site, would cost you $349 a month for the rest of your life. So I'm going to do it free for one site with a lifetime license. And then the $99 offer, everything is basically the same, except it's just a 1-year license. The $199 offer is for 2 sites with a 2-year license. And the $299 offer is good for three sites with a lifetime license. So I've tried to put something in there for everybody if it's something that you think you can use. The support is officially done through me, but they have all extensive tutorials and it's not really that complicated to use, as I think we're able to see by what we've done. So any questions before we give a freebie away? No? I'll take that dead silence as a no. All right, Ryan, it's up to you.
All right, let me pull this over. Can you guys see the wheel?
Yes.
All right.
So everybody, there's that many people in there.
Yeah. So we have Mark and then Mark Ohio. So don't try to claim Mark's prize. Mark Ohio, you know who you are. So Frank and I are not on here. Those are the other two. Everybody else is in here. So that's everybody there. If you do not see your name on the spinning wheel, yes.
We're just assuming that everybody wants to be in the contest, or maybe something no interest.
Well, we'll spin it twice. So what we'll do is if we can't get a hold of them or they say they don't want it, we will go to the next person in line. Does that sound good? Does anybody not want to be to get it?
I only see my name on there once. Is that a glitch in the system there?
I
tried to embed. I tried the rich embed and it did not work. I think I already covered that.
I just checked my PayPal bribes. There were none.
All right. So without further ado, everybody ready? All right, we're gonna do the spin. All right. And I'm not gonna. This is legit. We haven't coded this. I think we originally said we were gonna do it on the the third spin or something. So it wasn't rigged, but we're just gonna go for it. Whoever gets it on here, I don't want to disappoint anybody when they get the confetti. So here we go. And then everybody can turn on their microphone and congratulate, with applause for the person who wins here. We'll do the same. So, all right, here we go. All right, Eduardo. Yes. Woo! Eduardo, are you on the horn here to come up, calm?
I thought
once, twice.
I thought the deal was you had to be here.
Yeah, I thought you had to be present.
That's why I said let me roll it again. It's your contest, Frank. So he's not here to.
I'm here. I'm here, guys.
He's here. There we go. See, he's claiming it. I was just double checking to make sure he's in his room or unmuted there, so we're good. He's like, don't shove me off yet. I'm here.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to turn on the mic.
Oh, okay.
All right. No worries.
I hate being in contest when the winner isn't there. It's like, ooh. And that's why in all the webinars, they say, now, if you're not here at the end, you can't win. You can't get the.
Yeah, we just didn't script that well. We should have said that if we want to do that. I didn't want to change the rules there, but.
I've been listening the whole time.
Eduardo, just send me your, put your email address in the chat, and I will get in touch with you.
All right.
And I will look in the chat and copy it so I don't lose it.
Ryan, what's this widget, the spinning wheel widget here?
Wheelofnames.com.
Wheelofnames.com.
Who?
And I researched this because it was sorry, BD, if anybody's listening there from BD, but it was painful on the webinar. They were counting down people.
Yeah, it was tough.
So anyway, we could have fit all 82 names on here, and it just spins and it gets confetti, right? And it has the added bonus of my briefcase logo spinning with Frank's obnoxious purple coloring.
What's the widget again?
It's wheelofnames.com.
Okay.
I have a tool that I bought for websites where when somebody lands on your page, it has something like this,
right?
And automatically engage them and offer them, a discount if they sign up or whatever. I forget what it's called. Maybe it's listogram, maybe.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those, and in fact, we can go over. And in fact, Frank, we're going to do emails next week. We'll do the next webinar after that will be the pop-up tooltips, because obviously this does tooltips as well, but some of those other ones have the scratch and win, the spinning thing to try to get signups and lead conversions or whatever, as well as tooltips. So we'll go over that in 2 weeks' time, everybody. That's a great segue. We'll do that. We'll show you some of the spinning ones.
You said it's wheelofnames.com?
Wheelofnames.com, yes.
Okay.
Eduardo.
Yeah.
You'll hear from me no later than tomorrow. When I leave here at 3, I'm jammed up until tomorrow.
All right, Frank.
Okay, and then because I could tell the disappointment on everybody's face, even though I couldn't see your face, I feel like everybody wants another one. So, what? Yeah.
Spin one more.
Spin one more?
Spin one more.
All right. Frank says spin one more, so we're going to do it. There we go. Everybody's still here. I'm going to, Eduardo, you do not get to win twice. So your name, pretend your name is not here.
All right.
If it lands on you twice, I'm going to think this thing's crap anyway, because it should not land on you twice, just in terms of probability. But oh man. That was rough, Rich.
Yeah.
Becky.
You put your email address in the chat if you would, please.
Are you here, Becky? Are you still here? Come up, come.
Now you're here to win it.
I have a screenshot when it landed on my name, so that's close enough for me.
In photo. So is Becky here?
Becky.
How do I change my screen name to Becky? How do I edit my name? Becky. Going to the settings. Are you guys hearing this?
Wait, is that?
Oh, I thought I was talking to myself.
Okay. Yeah, it's being recorded, so we will play back your nefarious ways later.
Yeah, but when I get that email, it says beckyfortheday@gmail.com.
Right, yeah.
So is Becky here? Yes or no?
Doesn't look like it. I think it's been going once, twice, thrice.
Well, then let's. We want to spin till we get somebody else who's here.
Okay. All right. Rich, there's hope.
See, this was off the books. Nobody complain about that if they're not here. This was an add-on.
Well, let me make sure. Let me make sure. Well, I mean, she's still in the room here. Let me see. Nope, she's not. She's out of the room. So.
Okay.
All right.
She's gonna hate it when she watches the replay.
Oh, I know. Nope. What?
You got to be in it to win it.
You should just land on every name that's not here.
Hold on. You know, Rich, I say we just give it to Rich. It's crossed his name twice, and he's the closest one. Does anybody have any? Otherwise, I'll spin again. But it did come across your name twice there.
I think you got to spin it again. Let's make it legit. Whatever. I'd love to have it for free, but
Yeah, it's Rich.
give everybody else a chance.
All right, Corrine. Let me see if she is, and you're still here. Can you come up on comm there?
Yeah.
All right.
You guys.
Hey.
Put your email on the chat for me, and I'll get with you tomorrow.
So what do I need to do next?
Just put your email in the chat.
Okay.
And put your credit card in the chat also, if you would, just real quick.
Wait, I don't have this. I don't have the recorder on that screen. Hold on. Let me move it over. No, so does everybody like the spiel, the spinny wheel of fortune here? So we'll probably add that into other webinars here because it is such a fun experience for everybody all around.
Well, yeah, I'd like that idea of the spinning wheel or any kind of widgets for contest amongst our members because we're planning on hosting some Zoom like member meetings, weekly meetings where the members can get together and kind of network. And if we, to give away some prizes, that'd be kind of cool, something like that. Or even ongoing contest doesn't have to be live like the spinning wheel, but like Frank was mentioning, if they complete their profile, they get the gift card. But maybe if they, connect members or do some other stuff ongoing besides the onboarding process, how do you include some gamification ideas? If you have any tools in the next webinar on that topic line would be kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I guess in terms of it's not really an onboarding thing at that point. I know we're gonna we can probably get to that at some point in terms of the gamification, or just I would call that a viral marketing, right? Where you're getting them to do certain things and they get prizes or they get points further on the leaderboard.
Right. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
All right, and if anybody is interested in buying anything on that Helppier, let me know. I'll make you the best deal I can.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right, and then I kind of mentioned earlier, I'm going to do this before everybody jumps off in disappointment if they didn't win there. We do have a round 2 of the webinar for today starting at the top of the hour at 3 o'clock. In fact, it's going to be right here, so don't go anywhere if you want to watch that. Otherwise, again, it will be on the replay. But what we're going to go over, and just to let you know whether you want to stay or not, here I'll show you what we're going to be going over. We have another BD owner that has set this up, and we helped them a little bit to doing it. They did most of the work on there after we had the discussion, and they're here today. They're going to jump on there hopefully to present this, but it's called Email Parser by Zapier. And a lot of you are familiar with Zapier, the kind of connecting accounts to accounts. But what this does, just as a brief overview here, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But imagine your admin emails that you get after somebody signs up that says, hey, John at snuffy.com just signed up. And you get those admin emails. What the Zapier email parser is able to do is grab those sections from that standardized email, grab their name, grab their email, and by grabbing that can then parse that into a connection with any Zapier connection and sign them up to any autoresponder that you want, MailChimp, HubSpot, Kajabi, whatever you want. And then it's all automated based on getting that email sent out. And then you don't have to do any API integration. You don't have to do any weird stuff after you set it up. It's like set it and forget it. And he's going to go over a couple examples of what else he has done with Zapier. I'll let him talk about it, but he's done things like as soon as he gets that admin email, they automatically get the email autoresponder through MailChimp. He gets a notification in his Slack channel that somebody has signed up, and he automatically sends them I think a welcome video from another service directly to their email right after they sign up with his face telling them thanks for joining up. And he probably has added a couple more, but they're all automated just by somebody signing up without any API costs or integration from a developer. And we're going to go over that in the next hour. And we're going to do hopefully a live setup of one of the other BD clients of mine and their BD site to set up that for their site. So that's what we're going to do at the top of the hour. So stay tuned. And if you guys want to leave, thanks for coming. Otherwise, I'll see you at the top of the hour here for the next segment.
All right. I got a bolt. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I want to thank you for helping with the presentation. And I will talk to you later on.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Everybody. You're quite welcome.
That was cool stuff. Hey, Ryan, speaking of email, maybe not right now, but just a general question, then maybe offline if there's a break during the 3 o'clock deal. But I've kind of a urgent situation with my email with the domain name. It's all the emails are getting blocked or marked as spam or something's crazy going on. And I've reached out to tech support because I wasn't getting the, speaking of the admin alerts of a new member, I wasn't getting any new member alerts, but I'm seeing them in there. And then I went into, it seems to be the cPanel issue, or I'm not sure what happened, but basically anything at, hello at Podcasters Directory, Nick at Podcasters Directory, info, all of those, if you send them to any of those email addresses, it all gets bounced back. And I was actually trying to switch over to GoDaddy to have, my email, I want it forwarded to Gmail, all those, so I can just, manipulate those in Gmail rather than going to another widget. They set it up through Office 365, had to create a whole nother account. So I don't know if anybody has, shortcuts or has had those issues in the
So
past.
you made a change to. I wasn't fully tracked. So you changed your email provider, or you just started having that issue recently, or
Yeah.
did something change? I guess
Well,
from your setup or your domain thing to maybe cause that, or
I'm just trying to piecemeal it together. What could be the possibility? So, like, I went into, after I realized this was happening, I went into my admin and changed my default website email. Instead of hello@podcasters directory, I just put in our Gmail address as a temporary fix. And then, so now I'm starting to get the alerts, but I did purchase this thing, last week, that basically it's a widget that can go to anybody's contact page. And well, anyway, that's another thing, but I don't think that was related because I used a different Gmail for that. But anyway, I think it has to do with the cPanel because none of those were working. So I went to GoDaddy and they triggered a new email, newsletters at Podcaster Directory, which is not part of the cPanel or part of directory, and just forwarding it to my Gmail. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's something in the admin that creates a red flag, or I don't know. It's probably not a topic now because you got to jump on this webinar thing. But
yeah. Well, ironically, I was going to show you something of mine, and I can't get to my cPanel, so they're obviously working something. The thing I would say on that is sometimes it's, obviously the DNS records, if you had it with another one, if you swap it around, you got to be careful on those. If you're moving stuff around with the domain, obviously, I don't think you did that. If you're switching where you're using it, obviously the MX records, if you're using the DNS settings in your cPanel there at your BD site and you're switching email providers, that would break it, right? Because your MX records are pointing to Gmail, like GoDaddy or whatever. So be careful about if anybody's changing the ultimate destination of the actual site. And then the other thing that sometimes happens is your actual email is for some reason blocked accidentally by the system. I've had that before where I stopped getting something, or it was saying my email wasn't connected, right, and you have to unblock the email or have them unblock it from their end or whatever. So support should be able to help you out, at least narrow down, or at least know if it's something real quick within their control that they're going to see.
Yeah, because I went into the admin panel and I clicked the test, the email that's assigned to my domain name to the website for Brilliant Directories, and there's a test button, and it came up as that error, and then it said it was fixed, but it still was being blocked when I tried to do a test email. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was online with customer support with GoDaddy for like an hour, and then finally was jumped on this call, and then as soon as we started talking or the webinar launched, they picked up the phone and started, and then they anyway, I got to figure this out, but I'll let you get on to the 3 o'clock here.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna the presenter here is gonna be just a minute or two late. He's coming in, and he's actually from in Australia, so he's.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
yep.
The international thing, I tried to switch my website to the international, but you were going so quick, I couldn't jump on that. Show me that drop down again, or where it's at in my settings. It's in the general settings or design settings.
It's in your header setting.
Right.
But so under design settings.
Yeah, in your header.
Okay. It logged me out, so I'm getting the temporary error for admin access here.
Yeah, I was just say they were doing something on mine as well.
So now I can't log. But let me just make a mental note. So you're saying it's under design or general settings?
It's the design settings, and it's in the first tab there, and then it's in the header settings. I think so. First. Okay. Settings, design settings again for that first tab, and then the header settings. So welcome to the Sugar Network is online here. Welcome. We're actually going to walk through her site here for the Zapier integration demo here in a second. So welcome. And I think I told you, in case we need to have you present or anything, I do have you in presenter mode. So, and Peter is here as well. Welcome, Peter.
you doing?
Good. So, so again, if anybody has any last questions before they jump off, unless they're staying for this whole thing, let me know. I'll answer that real quick. Otherwise, we'll toss it over to Peter to get started, because I know Shannon's on a timeline as well. I think you have an hour, right, that you have?
Yes.
Okay, so that's our time limit. We'll keep that in mind, Peter, as well, as we're going through there. And so I kind of already gave a brief overview for this today. And let me just do that again for the second half here for the recording, because I'll probably start this off for this second section as well. So what we're going to go over today, here, and we're going to go over some other topic sets as well. And Peter, I'll let you just roam wherever you want here as well to show maybe what you did, whether it be, integration with Slack or any of those other stuff that you potentially could do. Again, this is just one example of what people can do with their websites, but we're going to go over the email parser by Zapier today. And it's kind of the sky's the limit on this in terms of your integrations. If anybody knows what Zapier is, it basically connects one platform to another, kind of provides that digital handshake between information and systems and another piece of information through another system, and it just kind of provides that data transfer between two different applications. And so what this is allowing you to do with the email parser is to the use case we're going to try to go over today and review a little bit, or at least talk about, is using the admin emails that you get from your site to say, hey, John at smith.com has joined your site, and it has his name and his email in that admin email. And what this system is allowing you to do is to grab the salient points of these standardized emails, because they're all standardized and they come out via templates, which we have in our BD directory. You can then replace those key elements with the nodes of information that Zapier is going to pull out, and then it grabs that information and then ports it over into whatever other application that you want. So think MailChimp newsletter, your Slack channel to post to you that you had somebody sign up to your account, like I said before, or a myriad of other integrations that you could potentially do once that you have those key pieces of information into the system. In Zapier, you can kind of do whatever you want with it on there. So that's what Peter's going to talk about today. And again, this is all non-scripted. We really haven't planned exactly where this is going to go. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to jump in. Peter, I'll just let you go wherever you want to go on this discussion. And again, we're going to try to get the Sugar Network hooked up here by the end of the hour here, if we can, with her system in BD and Kajabi. And we've mentioned on this stuff before for webinars, a lot of the stuff is usually takes a little bit of tweaking to get it to work exactly correct. So I'm sure we're going to have to do that with her account after we get done here, unless everything goes swimmingly here without any walkthrough or her total preparation on this. And then we may have to do some stuff offline for her. But the big thing is we want to show you what it can do and the general process of that and how it's going to work, so you guys can work with that and hopefully provide yourself with a integration with BD information, with the standard features that come with it, with the emails, and still be able to kind of get an API-like integration without having to pay the API-like costs to do so. So did I give a good general brief there, Peter, of what this is going to do?
Yeah, totally. No, thank you. That's a good high level. And like you say, this is me giving an overview of something. Let me set the scene. So I've got a BD website. I'm not sure. Am I able to share my screen too on this one?
You are. So just hit the plus in the top side there, and you can share your screen.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So I've got a site, a BD site called Talking Health Tech. It is. I'll make sure I'm sharing the right screen. This one looks right. Yeah. I just tried to check it like 5 minutes ago, and it said it was down, which is ironic, but that's okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
So that's okay. Well,
yeah. We just noticed that the BD sites were down. I think they're messing with me. They don't want me doing webinars, and they shut down the entire system because of us. I don't know.
Too much full power, but I don't know. That's okay. But look, there's plenty to talk around. I guess to set the scene, I host a so I started.
The directory site's back up now. It's back online. Brilliant Directory is back online now. You hit refresh.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe I'm in Australia, so maybe I'm slower behind. I'm not sure. But that's okay. Look, I'll talk around some other things. So I have set up, on my directory, it's the usual thing where I've got claim listings there ready for people to claim. I've got a few other bits and pieces going on there too, and I can talk more around that if needed. But in terms of what we're talking around here is Zapier integration. So I had that issue where I've got so many different moving parts. I've got Pipedrive. I've got, like, if I just look at my favorites here, a lot of the things that I use for the podcast is Podbean for the hosting. I've got, BD, Slack is huge, Pipedrive. I use Leadfeeder attached to Pipedrive. I use Outfunnel attached to Pipedrive. I use AdPlug to, have all my ads going rather than, so I can have them on rotation. I've got my, my project board with Ryan, of course, because he's a champion and he does a lot of stuff for me. I've got Calendly going that integrates with Pipedrive. I've got MailChimp, which integrates with the BD website, Loomly to post on my socials, and then a few other bits and pieces as well too. I used to have a Wix site ages ago. I don't use that anymore. So the main things that I use Zapier for, I keep saying Zapier, but it's actually Zapier because Zapier makes you happier. That's their slogan. So what I've done, but like Ryan said, I kind of worked out that with the email passing concept, when you get your emails from BD about, say, you got your receipt emails here, that there was information that I could then use the parsing tool within Zapier to then connect it to Pipedrive, which was my initial kind of thing. So I've got, in Pipedrive, sorry, I need to do it on, look, it's back, hooray. So that's my website. So I've got the, the usual directory listing thing going on here. It's pretty clean. It's all within health tech, so the use of technology within healthcare. There's some pretty good engagement on there. The way I've got a lot of engagement is running the podcast. I've run that for longer than I've run the directory site for. We just released episode 79 today. And so now I've been able to do this neat thing where members who have an episode of the podcast, it's almost like a prerequisite to come on the podcast is you become a paying member of the site. So that's been kind of nice that we've got some good traction within the industry. They want to come on and build it up. And then so what we're seeing, with that's probably not a good example, but if I went into, using the usual kind of post concepts here where, if you went into this post here, which is just, the podcast episode, I've got the embed code from Podbean, which is going in. Got my little article that goes on here. But then what I'm doing, there was a few customizations that I got built, which is linking the directory down below, the directory listing for that member from that here, which is kind of neat. And I can actually link multiple ones to one post because that was a custom build that I had. And then I've linked glossary posts underneath it. So there's, for example, the term telehealth, which is actually a glossary post in my glossary up here, because there's all these common terminologies that are discussed on the podcast. The post is here, and that was, talked about in the podcast. So then I've linked that in the back end. And then also I've created it so that companies can associate themselves with different glossary terms as well. So I've definitely customized this, but what we're talking about here with Zapier was there was no customizations or anything I've done. I'm just using the information that's available in those emails. So firstly, what I did is I did customize the email. It's not the stock standard email that you get normally, but it's not too different. It's just using the usual fields that you can do within your thing. So I made sure that I, with the invoice, I just make sure all the information is there, including any promotional code they use and a company. And this will be important for a second. I'll show you in a bit. Also, if I member on hold, I did the usual free members on hold, and this is the email that they get, but I'm actually using this within the parsing tool to be able to get some notifications and also trigger some other things. So you see here, I've got on the email, I've put in basic information about them. So this is one of those spam me annoying ones that, they've created 14 different emails and just thrashed me before I had a chance to block their IP, but that it doesn't happen too often, but it just comes up and that's what was it. So I've put here the subscription ID and the customer name and their first and last name. And why I do that is because I'm not sure if anyone uses Slack. Does anyone use Slack and know what Slack is?
I do, but it's basically like an internal chat tool, right, for your team, or it has different channels where you can set up different group functionality and stuff like that, assign people to groups, allow them in or out, or provide real-time notification, again, if you have that set up, but that's what that kind of is.
Yeah, and so I've set up Slack. I don't pay anything for Slack, and I've just got all these different channels going on. It's always good to be reminded when you do things well. I've got like a place to put some positive things, any kind of Google search alerts. Everything's kind of coming in here. This is my hub of what's happening in the directory. Also, some ideas that I've got that I just write my random notes on, like things that I want to do on the site later, like maybe run an awards thing. And because I've got the worst memory, I just write all my notes here, and it's a good place to come back to. I also have another person who's helping out. It's a good place for everyone to share notes and all that. So what I do, I've got all these notifications that go off here, which are all triggered through Zapier. So for example, here we can see this New Start Clinics. I created a Zap so that when I get an email in my Gmail inbox that has, this information, then send a little notification here. And so if we have a look at the Zap, if I just went to the parsing Zaps that I have here, this is my Zapier dashboard. I've got a few different Zaps going here. One that I've turned off for now, but I've got, because I don't use MailChimp for my onboarding emails anymore, but that's something that you could do. I use Outfunnel for my onboarding emails, and that's connected to Pipedrive. But I use, I get a notification when someone joins, when someone sends an email, like a contact us question through the website, I automatically add them to the mailing list as part of the terms and conditions of sending a message. I also have a parsing tool on so that every time there's a new free member, I get a message here, which is what we're looking at here. I also have a Zap going that is when I get a new individual member, I get like a separate notification in this channel too. Like you can see here, like I created a separate message with a little person emoji just so I know that that's happening. So it's good to know what's happening on the site. And then also I have like a notification of income. So this is my favorite one, which is the membership transactions channel, where I get to see, and I use all my excited emojis, reactions of when there are new members that come on. So that's really for my own internal purposes. And also it's good to see.
Do you get confetti? We had confetti on the previous episode where confetti blew up on the screen. I'm just joking.
Oh, okay. Well, let's put a confetti on this one, and then
there we go.
It doesn't blow up, but
okay.
So that's all great. What's actually like this one is like if you were using MailChimp for your onboarding emails, as in someone joins and then they get drip fed emails every 3 or 4 days on like how to set things up. That this is a really easy way to do that. You can see here as well what I've done when I get I need to tighten this up a little bit, but like the bones of it is there, is when someone joins, it then automatically adds them into Pipedrive, which is my CRM. So I think that's kind of around the theme of what most people would want to do, is that when they've got a member that's joined on the directory, then how do you then sync it up to a CRM so you've got some information about them? So
right, because I think a lot of CRMs obviously cover maybe email marketing and the CRM. There's maybe they're using the email marketing system as their CRM, so sometimes they're intertwined or whatever. So
yeah.
Those are some great use cases there on what you can do. Obviously, we mentioned that the sky's the limit on the stuff. It just takes time to set it up. Then once you do, the great thing about this is it's automated. But you just want to kind of walk us through that. I guess the MailChimp one, the one you turned off there, just as an example, since maybe that is more, I guess, generic of just adding that to an email autoresponder. Just kind of walk through how that's set up, the different steps, whatever that you did, and then I think once we do that, we're going to try to get Shannon on here to try to actually do a walkthrough on her Zapier, or at least get it partially set up with her Kajabi after you explain those steps. So,
yeah, sure thing. So we could set it up like this now. Like if we went, well, actually, let's look into it. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Jumping to this one here. So you would create a new Zap, and this is the Zap that I created, and then you name it something up here just so you know what it is. I then went to, like, the first trigger I created was I searched for parsing. So if you, let's create it from scratch. Sorry to jump around.
Yeah, if you can, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just do it from here, and then just won't turn it on. So the first thing you do after you create a Zap, let's call it, the BD MailChimp integration. and then you search for email parsing by Zapier. Not email, but email parsing. So like taking information from emails that you get. So there's one thing you need to do. Sorry if this triggers me to remind like of a few things you need to set up beforehand, but I'll talk around. So when you wanted the trigger event is when a new email is received in a mailbox. So if you go, okay, that makes sense, I'm going to go continue. And so then you choose your Zapier email parsing account. You'll need to set one of these up if you don't have one, but just go add new account, and then it'll then take you through to create an email parsing account here, which again is free. They have the concept of mailboxes, which I'll talk about in 1 second.
Okay,
so,
and I'm going to jump in here too. I know, Shannon, I know you made your Zapier account. So as you're following along here, if you have not done that email parsing segment there, if you just have your Zapier account, go ahead and sign up for that if you want, and then we'll have that ready to go when we jump over to you. But all right, go ahead, Peter. Thanks.
Then you choose the mailbox. So here, what I've done, I've created a bunch of mailboxes for the different types of notifications I want to get. And because the other thing you need to do after you've set up a mailbox, for example, if you created one called, let's just do one, see if we can do the whole thing. It's a funny way to do it. You have to send an email to that address that they gave you. I think that's right. And then
we pick the new mailbox first.
Yeah, maybe. 7 o'clock in the morning for me. Is that a good reason for me to do it?
Yeah, and again, we mentioned Peter's in Australia, so it's never a good time zone trade between the U.S. and the opposite side of the world. So again, Peter, thank you for joining us before your morning coffee.
Yeah. I think that's right. So if you go skip waiting there and then you name it something. So say if we called it MailChimp PD. I think so. This is how I do things often. I kind of just keep chopping at it and seeing how I go. So then if I created this and then sent an email to it. So say if I forwarded, I think this is how I did it before. Let's say I wanted to add this dude to my mailing list because he spammed me. So I'm going to add him to my spam mailing list that I just decided to create, which would be a pretty narcissistic thing to do, but let's just, let's send it here. So you take your email that you want parsed, remove all the little bit that was at the top, like the header stuff, and then forward it on through. I think from memory, it also says remove any footer stuff that might confuse it. I remember reading that somewhere in the email parsing instructions. So feel free to read that in more detail, but this is my whirlwind guide of how I worked it out.
Okay, so there is a little bit of a manual stuff here. Then it just doesn't automatically send it over. Then, or I guess you.
Well, no, it does. It does automatically send it over. But this is to set up the mailbox in the first place. The other thing,
set it up. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing you have to do here is set up an auto forward from Gmail. So now I've got all my forwards happening. So in Gmail. Under settings, where is that again? No. It is
Ryan, can you hear me?
I can. Yep.
So are we setting up a new mailbox for the trigger event or the new email?
Yeah, you would set up a new mailbox because you need to create a mailbox
first. Okay.
Yeah, and then once the mail has gone in, so we can see here this. So one thing, so just back to that point before, you need to set up automatic forwards for those types of emails from Gmail into that mailbox that you created. I'm just having a mental blank on how to do that, but just Google how to do an automatic forward. I've got a bunch of forwards that are happening from my Gmail account. Every time I receive an email that has, what's good is that all of the emails are normally the same. Like they've got receipt, for example, in the subject line. So if you did an automatic forward of all emails from BD that had receipt, in the subject line to go to that mailbox you created, then it'll just automatically send the email into this mailbox here.
Yeah, and that's the important thing about that. Just to realize for everybody, you can customize any of the templates in BD that you want and label the header to whatever you want. So once you set this up, if you have something like Peter has in there of a receipt inside of the brackets, or if you had something like new member inside of the brackets, or activate your listing, or whatever you had in there, whatever that keyword is for that particular email template, you can customize any of those and then pre-select them in BD, and then have that set up to go there easily. And you can basically pick what you want. Otherwise, find something distinguishable in either in that email or the header, right? That would be able to forward to that new mailbox you made.
Otherwise, because what you're trying to achieve there is so you don't have to forward every email into that mailbox, because that would defeat the purpose of doing that. So it's finding a way to find all those forwards. Then so this is the email. So I just went into here, and the email that I forwarded to this inbox has landed here, and you can view so there's 4 things here. There's the original email that you can look at, and that's what just got forwarded through, and it removes all the junk. What you need to do is then go template, and then you need to create a new template for it, because the template tells the parsing tool what to look for on each email, because every email is, so you can do this with emails that are always the same, that always follow the same kind of template. You couldn't do it with like free text emails that anyone wrote, because it's going to be always looking for information in the same spot every time. So it's going to look for
the good thing about the BD emails is that everything that the system sends out, they're transactional emails. They're using templates that are always the same, right? So that's the advantage. It's almost perfect for the BD sense. So
yeah. But then you tell the parsing tool, you tell Zapier like what is the first name, and so you select it and you go, this is their first name, and that's the heading that you give it, and then it turns it into this, and then you say this is their last name, and make sure you're selecting like just the field, like don't get rough with it. Make sure you're actually selecting the right bit. You go company, and then this is their subscription ID. If you want that, you might not want that. But I tried to get subscription name because that was easier, but it wasn't easy to get into the email. But anyway, I didn't try that hard. So, and then I think that's all I did. And then go save address and template.
Well, you probably want their email at the top there, right? Or that one.
That's probably yeah. That's like the most important thing.
Right. The only part we were concerned about, Peter, and you skipped it.
Oh. Cool. Okay, so we'll go, and then you go output. Sorry, you can edit. That's a good one. You go edit extra template. So if you wanted to add more to it, you just go edit extra template. Or if you find, like what I found when I started doing it, it wasn't quite grabbing the information correctly. So it's almost like you have to train it again, like on the first or second term. You just go edit extra template, and then go. Actually, I always then went through and redid it and just told it like that's the first name. If I'm doing it again, I then tell it again, that's the last name. I'm not sure if you have to do that, but that's me just reiterating to it that, right. That's what it is. And then it only took me a second to do. So then we're great. Okay, so I've got all the information now as fields in the thing. So I'm going to jump back over to to Zapier. And I might just refresh it because I had created that mailbox since I've started this. So this is the Zap that we're creating. So now, hopefully, this MailChimp BD robot mailbox we created is here. So we'll go, yes, please. I'd like to tell me more. And then go, let's test the trigger. So it's going to look for any emails that are in there. And it's like, huzzah, we've got like an email that came in there. And that's the email from Mr. Spams-a-lot that came in. And we'll go continue. And so it's like, okay, so what do you want to connect it to? And this is where like your mind explodes of like how many systems you might have, and like a lot of things have got Zapier integration. So if we're just talking about MailChimp, because I've got a MailChimp account, let's just do that. Then go to what do you want to do with this information? So I want to add them to a new campaign. So I think it's, and again, if you're doing like HubSpot or something like that, you would then, you might want to.
Yeah, they're all different depending on the platform, right? Because they've set up different triggers and tags in the system. So they're all going to be different, but yeah.
Let's just say we wanted to add a subscriber for like just to demonstrate for purposes. You've got to connect to your account if you've not used it for the first time. I've used MailChimp a lot here, so it's already there, ready to go, but I've put my credentials in if I've not done it for the first time. I then choose my audience. Like this is just setting it up for MailChimp, like because they have the concept of audiences. But then like this will be the same in whatever system you use, like HubSpot or whatever you're using. It'll then say, what do you want to, like, what is the person's email? So if you've selected, that as a field, this is one of those fields I selected over when I was passing the email. And so that is the email. That's the email I'm telling MailChimp. And then I think that's all that I would do here. And that's, I could put, I think I'd probably put their first name and last name, wherever that is here. Yeah, there. So then I would choose their first name. You can search for it. First name, etc., etc. So that's fine. And then next you'd go like, what is the, again, each Zap is a little bit different, but it would be what's the, if there's anything else you wanted to add. I was just thinking of the Slack notification. So if you were adding a Slack notification after, you can like daisy chain them. So you could add like at the same time also send a notification to Slack, or also subscribe them to this, or also do something else. And
right,
then
you don't have to have multiple Zap instances. It basically does. It's just a big long flow of that same part.
And you can get next level with it and do some really clever things with Zapier. And some people build like apps off of Zapier. So like I'm definitely not at that level. I'm just doing some basic, if someone comes in, connect them here and create them. So like that would be where I would recommend. And then go continue, and then let's just subscribe them, because see what happens. And then I might turn the Zap off just so in case anyone else joins. But that's really about it. So now that when you do the test, it actually does, like it pushes it through. So just make sure probably do it with some test data if you're doing it, or with someone that you're okay with sending them some information, whatever the trigger is. But that's how you would then set it up. And then if I jumped into MailChimp, I would see that they are probably now subscribed. So that's
okay. And so the last little bit there, which we talked about at the beginning again, is that you have to set up that autoresponder in Gmail or whatever your particular.
Yeah, sorry, that was my realization that I would search for receipts, like that's going to be the common thing, and then I'd go create a filter. So then you create a filter down the bottom there. So when you drop it down, this is how you do it in Gmail.
Okay.
And you would go create a filter so that when the subject line, so we do the subject contains receipt. Like that's what I would do here. And also it's from, you do it from BD, whatever that is, and then go, you'd go create a filter, apologies. You would also, this is the important part, you would then go forward to, and so then you would choose your forwarding address that you want to have those emails that match this search forwarded to, and that's how I've created them. What you do have to do with Gmail is you have to add a forwarding address for it to show up on here. So then to add a forwarding address, you have to authorize it to do it. So you have to go, like you click on that button and you go add a forwarding address, and I would write, this address, which is there. And I'd go next and go, yes, please. And then you have to confirm, because you have to confirm that you received it and you're okay with that. So I would go back into here, and it's like checking an inbox, and you'd wait for this forward. Like this email just came in from Google to confirm that I'm okay to accept this forwarding, or like the automatic forwarding of those emails. So I would then go to this address, because normally, like if you did that, you would then just be able to click on it. That I would go here, paste it in, and then I'd click confirm. I won't do that now, just in case it then breaks a few other things in my site, but you would then just confirm it, and then you'd have to do that once, and then that's all set up, ready to go. So then that way, anyone that matches that filter you created then gets forwarded to the Zapier email passing tool. And then any Zap you've got that speaks to that tool, then triggers, and you can send anything you like from there. So that's how I've got it set up at the moment.
Okay. And great. And so it's not rocket science, but it's a little bit closer to that than some things that some people probably do. But again, everybody has to realize here, either watching live or on the web or the replay here, is that you do it once, right? And then it's done, right? It's all set up, and obviously you may have to go tweak it or add some stuff or rearrange it. But that, we just did that in less than 15 minutes on a webinar here. And so it's either that, little bit of complexity there, but it's either that or you pay a developer $800 to do that for you, an API integration. And, so is it worth, what's it worth to you to set up or do that? And obviously that usually takes some ongoing work as well. So I think it's a really good technique and option there to kind of have that availability for people that don't want to have to pay that, but still get some functionality there. And just using the standard BD email functions, the standard Zapier available tools, and just a little bit of elbow grease there to get it working. And I think it works out good. So appreciate that, Peter.
Yeah, no worries. And like some things that I found is that, I have set it up as well for if someone submitted a query via the website. That's the Zap I created here for like Slack and like the contact us. Anyway,
right. You've done several ones for different emails.
Yeah. And what's happened then, but where that hasn't been fantastic is, like, it's been okay. It's been good because I get a notification. I'm doing multiple things. We all are doing multiple things. So, I don't get a chance to sit down and look through any contacts that I get, in the BD thing. And it's, not great to look at on a phone. I rely a lot on the phone. So having Zaps that then send stuff to Slack, so I can then see, hey, someone's interested in a sponsored podcast. I'm going to jump on the phone to them straight away, which I did yesterday because I got that query yesterday afternoon. So I wouldn't have found that until I checked it over the weekend or something. But then where that does break sometimes is if they've sent a big, long message, the parsing tool doesn't quite catch the email perfectly. So I could probably jump back into that tool, clean up that, retrain it to look for a bigger message. So then next time I can see the full message in Slack. But you know what? That's still great because I know, hey, someone did send a message. I'm going to jump into BD and just double check what that was. So yeah, definitely. Like, I didn't spend any money on setting it up, but it's been really helpful. And I'm waiting for the day where one day BD sets up, the native integration with Zapier, because that will be next level. But this probably gets me about 80% of the way already. So
right. Yeah. All right. Oh, good. Shannon, are you ready to do this live to take over and do it?
I don't know. Hi, everyone. I can't see anyone yet, but
I'm sorry. Let me switch back. There we go.
That's okay. Peter, wow, my brain is spinning. Okay, I'm hoping that this is very simple. I just started my directory. We just went soft live November 1st, so we're only about, 12 days in. I have a successful online school through Kajabi. And I'm a founder with them. So are you familiar with Kajabi, Peter?
Yeah, I've definitely heard of it. Yeah. Okay.
So for Kajabi, that's where all of our online classes get sold through. So because I'm a founder, I have what I'm hoping is the right thing is that I just set up a new website and called it the Sugar Network. So do I have to I'll go to the plus and share my screen?
Exactly. Yep.
What am I picking?
Hit the plus and then hit
share screen. Got it.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, so,
yeah, you just got to switch to your other tab there. There you go.
Okay, so this is the Sugar Network. Thank the Lord for Ryan Sullivan because he's helped me put all this together. Body sugaring is, you can see this beautiful little ball of sugar down here. It is a form of hair removal that is better than waxing. And so we are trying to switch the world to be sugars. And this is our Instagram feed here. But what I want is our members are licensed estheticians and cosmetologists. So when they sign up, let me sign out of here. When they sign up for a membership, I would like them to go into my Kajabi. So Ryan had suggested that, so this is them. and I would like for them to go into my Kajabi email, because then I can auto drip stuff to them. I can do live webinars through it. I can do all kinds of really fun things. So that being said, I showed you I started a new Kajabi because I have a bunch of different websites. This is my new Sugar Network. So I have a blank slate when it comes to people. I don't have any of the people. So what I need to do, Peter, is I need to, when someone signs up for a listing, I would like for them to zap over into this database.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay, so I'm at this screen now because I needed to set up a mailbox, and then you got to really going, and I thought, well, I don't want to screw it up, so I stopped.
No, that's cool. And so I guess the first thing that I would like, what kind of information would you want about the individual that goes into Kajabi from BD? Is it just their name and email?
Right. Mostly, for sure, their name, their email. We could do that just for now, and then I could probably edit it, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Their name, their email, like I would do probably their address. But for this, just getting them over, I would just love their first and last name and email.
Yeah. And do you know, like, do you have any emails already? Like, you know how we get, as admin, we receive an email when someone creates a listing.
I do. Here it is. I've made a few custom ones.
Yeah.
So I have the welcome email.
Yeah. Do you know whether do you get has anyone, sorry if you already mentioned this before, so are people already using the BD, like your BD site, and have they created listings and stuff like that? So
yes.
Yeah. So have you got emails that you've received as admin when someone has created a listing on your account? Yeah. So do you use Gmail for that, or do you use another email platform to view those emails when they come in?
I've just been putting them in the BD. I have support at the Sugar Network, your BD.
Got you. Okay. Yeah.
It's easier to put it through Gmail. I can do that too. I've kept everything through BD in the system for now.
Yeah. And that's cool. Like, I guess the reason I ask is because there's just those you'll need to find one of those emails and then do that step first of setting up the email parsing tool in Zapier.
Okay.
So
You're talking about the forwarding piece?
Yeah, the forwarding piece, and also to pass through an email that you've already got, just to help set up the template in the first place.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so there's really two parts to that. Real quick, Peter. So I think the step before that is potentially the ones that normally come in through the admin have the baseline information. So if nobody's changing that, it's going to have their email, someone in there saying they signed up, and probably their name. It's not going to have any of the other stuff that Peter originally went over there, like ID or whatever. So if you have other elements that you want to have in there that you want to eventually parse in, you're going to have to go edit that template in BD first to add in all those other variables in that form. So when you get those in there to pass on to Zapier, that's already in the email to pass along, if that makes sense. So what Shannon's looking at right there too, those are the examples of email variables. I just asked BD as well to verify this, just in case anybody does not know that you can do this. Those are just the basic list of variables right there. If you have a particular custom variable inside of a form, like let's say you made a get matched form with alternate variables, or you've added additional field sets to the existing forms to grab some data about a person's listing and put it in the database, you can also add those custom variables, again, using that custom variable code from the forms, that field variable, and you can parse those custom variables in there as well, even if they're not on that sidebar list. So what you'd have to do is go to that particular form, find out what variable you use for that field set, and then grab that and then just replace that, percentage sign email or first name with the whatever that variable you want. And you can insert all those into the templates as well. But just in case anybody didn't know that. But that would be the first step, I think, is adding any additional details if you wanted it in the template first, and then go do that forwarding piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think, yeah. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I was going to say that is because I did mine over a space. It wasn't something that I set up completely in one go, because I would have a few goes where I would send the email a couple of times, make sure I even was playing with those variables just to make sure I could get it right, and was trying to put variables in things that weren't actually variables. And so there was a bit of trial and error in getting the right email. So there was a lot of accounts that I sent through my system when I'm remembering now when I first set it up. And I remember sending you messages at 2 a.m, Ryan, about like variables on email. So thank you for helping with that. But but once you get your email template right, then you're like, okay, that's the information that I want, such as I've got my first name, last name, email in the email every time someone creates an account. So then you can chuck that into the Zapier parsing tool and then select those fields, which I just went through before. So yeah, that would be an important step to do, which is edit your template email when someone's created, because no one really minds having their first name and email at the bottom of that thing. It's in small text. It doesn't really.
Peter, do you think it's fine to leave, like right now, my support at sugarnetwork.com is within BD. It forwards to my email just so that I can see, everyone that comes in. Do you think it's best to use, like you use Gmail for all of your notifications, but it is going through the BD directory, right?
Yeah.
Should I have them sent all to my Gmail and then parse it from there, or can you parse it from inside BD?
I'm not sure on that. Like, it doesn't really. I don't think it matters which emailing tool you use. Whatever you're comfortable with. I'm definitely more comfortable with Gmail just because that's just what I've used forever. So that was my personal preference. But I don't think it's absolutely necessary for it to work. The important steps are that you can get you can do auto forward rules from your email provider. So like Gmail lets you create filters and then automatically forward an email that matches that filter to that inbox. I don't know whether the email within BD lets you do those kind of clever things.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. The real question too is just to make sure everybody's aware of this set though, is that you don't want to forward everything. So I think what you were talking about is, hey, should I just forward everything to there as well, because I'm already forwarding it to my Gmail? But you're forwarding everything to Gmail. You probably don't want to forward everything that your BD system is getting to that parser, because realize if it's grabbing that data, if it sees that data in that spot, it's going to pull it and maybe sign somebody up or do something for an email that wasn't for that intention, if that makes sense. It may be smart enough to know that it's not in the right spot, so it won't parse it correctly and won't action it. But I'm not sure. But does that make sense, Peter? I think you don't want to. You only want to forward the particular emails that you want to trigger that automation.
Yeah. So like the parsing tool is only going to parse stuff from within that unique mailbox you created, not from your generic inbox. So that's okay. Like you wouldn't forward it on through to a specific one you create in the parsing tool within the Zapier email thing. But maybe if you're forwarding stuff, like one thing you could try, again, I'm not sure if it's the best solution, but if you're already forwarding stuff to your Gmail, you could just create those filters from your own personal Gmail account for those emails you get, and then connect that through to Zapier.
So this is I'm just in yours right now, Shannon. For the filters. So there is an item in there, and when you go to the cPanel, it's just in the email section. It's called email filters, and you can create a new filter for a particular, and you can grab, this is per email address. I just grabbed this one for the filter, and you can name it. You can set up rules. So again, this is live. I've never looked at this before. I'm just kind of showing this to you guys here, and maybe we can set something up. But you can do it from subject to reply, as previously been delivered. So a lot of different stuff in here. So maybe this would be the subject that we did. That's what Peter shows. Contains, does not contain, equals, begins with. So contains. And then again, now we're back into the thing where you're saying, new sign up or whatever that is that's in your email. So that
the actions under there, the actions would be forward email, hopefully.
Yeah, and then let's see, pipe to a program, deliver folder, redirect to email.
Maybe redirect. Yeah. And then you would forward that to the Zapier mailbox that you create for that particular Zap. So you might have a few filters and forwards happening here, but but in your case, with the Kajabi integration, you probably just have the one, which is, calling it new signups, and then away you go.
I actually don't know what pipe to a program is. That sounds good, but it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Pipe. Let me see. Pipe to a program. Yeah.
And then it's got something underneath it, and then we just realized that was like a much simpler. No.
So I think the reason why I'm asking too is because when I went and looked into Zapier, it didn't show BD as one of the apps, like connect this to this.
Yeah.
No, it's not, because it's just connecting the email parsing. That's why he said you have to sign up for that. Instead of picking the first front end is not BD, you're picking the front end is the Zapier email parser. That's the entry, as opposed to another app. That's their internal app, but you're pulling that Zapier parser thing is what's starting the chain, but it's using the email system that you set up there that Peter went over.
Yeah, I remember in previous webinars they've talked about potentially doing it one day with BD, and like that. I think that's been talked about for a while. So that would be a great one day to do it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And so we may not be able to do all this live, and that's what I kind of figured. But because there probably are a few steps there that we'll need to do, Shannon. But do you have any other, questions as you were going through it? I know you only have 13 minutes here before you have to go as well. But any other questions we can kind of clarify, or we can just continue to start walking through some of that stuff if you want. But
yeah, I think we'll have to walk through it for sure. So as far as you're concerned, Peter, the people that go through BD, this works very smoothly and it drops them into your CRM pretty easily, because that's what I'd love, is for this to just drop everybody in my database and I can contact them from there. I just want the two of them to talk, and you're feeling like this is pretty smooth?
Yeah, exactly. Like the one, it is, because the emails that are created when I've got new signups are pretty static. They're pretty consistent, which means then I can rely on the parsing tool just looking for information here after after it says first name on the email, then just this is their first name. And then it chucks it into, for me, Pipedrive is my CRM, but if it was Kajabi, it would then throw it into there. The one thing I need to work out, which is not really a BD thing, but it's just a Zapier Pipedrive thing, is how to find, like, if someone's already in the system, like you can make it do a search and then update them. And I know I can do that. I've just not worked it out personally. So that's something I need to work out how to do better, because I might be already contacting them saying, hey, you should get your listing. And then they create it, and then it would create a duplicate in Pipedrive. So like that's one thing that I'm working on at the moment.
Yeah, because that's really annoying. My wife is in the dental field, and they're really big marketers, and we get probably one mailing in the mail every week from her office saying, come be a member of the company. And we're like, she works at your company, but we still get them, right? So.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, I've got other tools that try and do like merging and deduplication and stuff like that. But yeah, in the end, like, simpler the better, I think. And starting something basic, like with just the notification, like just the setting up your parsing tool so that then Zapier knows when you've got a new member, that would be great. But I don't think I've had any issues with that tool. I'm at a point where I could rely on that to do other things. I'm looking now at also creating other cool things where, members that get created, for example, on my BD site, there's a, because I do a lot of podcasting, there's a premium podcasting tool. But say if you had like a premium, like you're doing education, if you had like a premium course or something, that if they signed up on your website, then through Zapier, if through your course, because Kajabi is a program that does courses, is that right? Or is that like Teachable and stuff like that? Yeah. So then it might be sign them up for this premium course. So rather than them having to jump into the platform to then sign up in a course, you could use BD as your front end to then, for me, like I've got a premium podcast that I'll be launching soon, which is something that you have to pay for. So then through Zapier, through Supercast, I can then subscribe them to this premium podcast, which they bought off my BD site. So rather than having to jump into somewhere else, it then triggers them. And I'm going to be doing that all off the email.
Okay, so that's really fascinating, because I have a membership in Kajabi. They're called the Sugar Tribe.
Yeah.
And it's a premium membership, monthly membership. And when they sign up through the Sugar Network, I would like some of them, if they sign up for this like all access pass Sugar Tribe, I'd like them to automatically be dumped in Kajabi at that level. Yeah. You're working on it, or you're able to do it?
I'm working on. I will be able to do it. I've done it, but yeah.
And it probably depends on the Kajabi things, right? So it's probably, you know how when you went into MailChimp, it had a certain options. It may just be Kajabi thing has an output of upgrade status or something like that, or whatever. And you would say upgrade this status of this email person from this level to this level or something. Again, it depends on how it's set up on the Kajabi side. But those just may be options in that pull down for when you get to that for Kajabi. It may be subscribe to a new training or maybe upgrade. What may be one of those options. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at the Kajabi site. They've got I've got all my other notifications going off. Where are we? They've got new purchase. So when that's one way. Oh, that's a trigger event. Sorry,
You got to do the other end of it, right?
Around, yeah. So when
you could probably can you go edit one of the ones you have but not save it? Or I don't know.
Yeah. Of course. Sorry, I know we're parsing tool. I'll just add it to the end of one of the. Let's just go this one we're adding. So say if I had Kajabi, I could then go here. How do you spell it? Kajabi.
AAJ.
Yeah. So then I'm going to also grant access to an offer or create. Yeah, so they're like the three things that you can do. I'm not sure what the offer is.
Oh, that's the membership. So I could grant access. Okay.
To the premium membership. Yep. And then you probably pick the offer that's in your database once you do that, right?
Yeah. Once you log into your Kajabi account, it will then find whatever, I guess, offers you've got, and then you can then pull their first name, last name, and email and add that to that. And so then it'd trigger every time they sign up here, they then get created over there. And that's.
So this is great because what we'll be able to do, Ryan, is take anyone that signs up for that Sugar Tribe All Access, when they sign up for that particular package,
yep,
we can zap them into, so I'm not double entering them. They don't have to go in and enter themselves in there. Yep. That's great.
As long as all you need is the basic information like first name, last name, email, then it'd work, yeah.
Okay.
So you just need to set up that initial email that's got the information at the bottom, work out how to forward it from, create a filter and then forward only those emails to that Zapier mailbox you create, which might be called BD new Kajabi at robot.zapier.com, and then create the Zap, which then takes the email parsing tools from the mailbox, which is getting all those emails, to then create a connection with Kajabi to create new offers.
All right. This is huge. I mean, to put memberships together with a directory is
for free.
Yeah.
And Peter, can you talk to me about? I know Zapier, some stuff is charged or whatever for. Is it number of zaps? So as long as that that uses one of your zaps, or is there multiple? What are the charges on that? I know there's free up to a certain amount, but and you may not be able to talk to that, but
I ended up paying for it because there's some premium connections. For example, I've got Xero, so I get notifications every time an email, an invoice is sent out through Xero, my account system. So I have to pay for Zapier for that. But I think the free Zapier, you get up to 20 zaps or something like that. So if you're not using it for anything, but 20 is quite a few at the moment. Oh no, I get up to 20 now. So I guess if I just quickly Googled free Zapier.
I've got it up here. I was just going to show. So
I used it for free for so long, but I only started paying for it recently because I saw the value in it, and it wasn't hugely expensive either. But
looks like 5 zaps, and then only single step zaps. So this is where you're hey, you can add extra. It looks like you can't do that with the free. So it's just one thing and done. You can't daisy chain it. But so 5 zaps, and then 100 a month. So it looks like I guess it's a good problem to have. If you're signing up more than 100 people a month, it looks like you have to pay. But again, it's not. Again, what's it worth to you for the integration on that? And again, you have a lot of other stuff too. If even at $19 or whatever.
That's the one. I mean, I've got the $19 one. I just
okay.
And that I'm using 19 zaps at the moment, but I could probably clean that up because I create a lot of random ones and then turn them off and all that. So I had the free for so long, so you could just set up that. And even if you did want to do multiple things, instead of daisy chaining it, just create 2 or 3 different zaps, and they're that's not too hard. So
right. Yeah, and it really doesn't matter as long as it's because you can trigger multiple simultaneous, I guess, parallel zaps, right, with the same functionality. You just have to throw that into a different email. Maybe it forwards to 2 emails, right, to trigger two zaps or 2 processes.
Using the same mailbox too on like 2 different zaps, so that's easy as well. So.
Oh yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're at our hour here, there, Shannon. So hopefully you got some out of that. We'll work on that later to get that going for you. Maybe doing a success story, and then Friday sounds good. And then we'll go from there. But thank you, Peter, for doing that. We can stay on a little bit there. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording for today. Again, thank you for joining webinar 20 and webinar 20 bonus for the Zapier walkthrough. For everybody. And again, you can catch this on a replay. We'll add it to directoryvideos.com for later. So again, thanks for everybody for joining. I'm going to sign off here, but if we want to talk for just a couple minutes before we leave, we can do that. Thanks.